Coming up on First at 4, evacuations from the Gaza Strip have begun ahead of an expected Israeli ground invasion. And 6 Eastern Kentucky fire departments received grant money for new equipment.
Plus, after gloomy weather on Monday, we are tracking some improvements later this week. Your forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict continues. More than 1 million people have now fled their homes in the Gaza Strip ahead of an expected Israeli ground invasion that seeks to eliminate Hamas's leadership. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken returned to Israel today to hold meetings with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other top officials.
So let me tell you, Mr. Secretary, this will be a long war. The price will be high, but we are going to win for Israel, for the Jewish people, and for the values that both countries believe in.
The White House has also been negotiating to secure an escape route for as many as 600 people from the United States that's trapped in Gaza. A journalist at the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza witnessed 5 UN fuel trucks entering Gaza this afternoon. This will be the first entry of fuel trucks since before the Hamas attack on Israel early on Saturday, October 7th. The UN would need to coordinate the movement of those fuel trucks with Israel. This after a widespread appeal to allow in much-needed aid to the besieged territory of Gaza. The crossing has been closed for much of the past week. Some people from the United States in the Middle East have boarded a charter Royal Caribbean ship to Cyprus. The Rhapsody of the Seas has departed the Israeli port of Haifa, but some Israeli Americans say they feel that they should stay in Israel. Royal Caribbean is working with the U.S. State Department to transport Americans out of that war-torn region.
I don't agree with this trip. I came along because I want to be with my family, but I think that we should stay in Israel with our nation and with our family, and I think we have to show support. And if everybody picked up and left, not everybody would come back. And what are we fighting for? We're fighting for our country and for a place to call home.
Diplomats and staff at the United States Embassy say they are helping Americans and their immediate family members with valid travel documents leave.
Well, we are tracking some gloomy, chilly, and soggy weather across the mountains on your Monday, but some better weather is on the way, just not this afternoon. Here's a live look at satellite and radar. You can see some clouds, also some spotty showers. Let's take a little bit of a radar tour in southern Kentucky, also northeast Tennessee and southwest Virginia. Some spotty showers, nothing too heavy, but some areas of drizzle, also some light rain is possible as we go into this afternoon, also this evening, and a few more spotty sprinkles in the Big Sandy near Pikeville, also into portions of Floyd County as well. More spotty sprinkles close to Moorhead and the I-64 corridor. Also the Mountain Parkway. Here's a live look from Slade at the Mountain Parkway down to 52 degrees. You can see those dark clouds back in the distance as this gloomy weather does continue. And check out these temperatures on this October afternoon. And some of us are struggling to make it out of the 40s, down to 48 for Hazard, 45 in Wise, 50 for Pikeville, also Grundy, and 53 for Manchester, also London at this hour. And more chilly weather is on the way as we go into tonight. Those lows back in the middle to lower 40s as you wake up on Tuesday. But we are tracking some drier air on Tuesday and some warmer air by Wednesday, also Thursday. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. 6 volunteer fire departments in Breathitt County were recently awarded a grant to better serve the community. It was a Homeland Security Communications grant to purchase new radio equipment for every active volunteer firefighter in the county. The firefighters received training on the new equipment at the end of last month, and Watts Caney Fire Chief Tim Osborne says it will help them better respond in emergency situations.
During the 2022 flood, we had a lot of other organizations in the county supplying aid. We were not able to communicate with all of them. We couldn't talk to each other. A lot of our communication systems were down. This will enable us to communicate, to have interoperability and to communicate with other departments that come in for mutual aid.
Osborne says they cannot thank the Kentucky River Area Development District enough for their assistance in writing the grant. It's been more than 14 months since the July 2022 flood. Knott County officials are still working to rebuild. Back in May, the NRCS launched the Emergency Watershed Protection Buyout Program in Breathitt, Knott, Perry, and Letcher counties. The deadline was extended to the end of September. Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says they are beginning the auditing program. However, it will take some time.
Well, we had several that signed up throughout the county for the NRCS buyout program. A lot of residential, mostly residential, some commercial. The process is, obviously it's moving slow. It's going to be a slow process.
Dobson says they are making progress with the program. However, still having folks in trailers does not help. We will have more on what still needs to be done tonight at 6. Officials at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet have issued their annual antler alert to remind drivers to watch out for deer on the roadways. Experts say peak season for deer vehicle collisions is upon us. KYTC officials say about half of all deer-related crashes happened during the last 3 months of the year. There were more than 3,000 highway crashes involving deer reported to Kentucky State Police last year. Coming up on First at 4, federal wildland firefighters may soon see big pay cuts if Congress does not act.
And we are tracking some near average temperatures by midweek. Those details on the way after this break.